All right, everyone, welcome back to this week's session of Banks Wants You to Know, your latest source for financial discipline and literacy. So as we come into a new month of this new year, we've also entered into a kind of a 2 to 3 month trend. Some may even call it the most wonderful time of the year. No, it's not Christmas, of course. It's income tax refund time. So if you're lucky to receive a tax refund year after year, you may feel several emotions in one, such as excitement and intrigue. There's also those emotions that relate to your money standing, your money position, such as you start to feel comfortable, you even start to feel rich. But what happens when this trend is over, the money gets spent, and now it's all gone? It's back to reality. But do you wait on that next windfall from the government to come next year to do it all over again? Of course, years of this it creates a vicious cycle of impulsive spending and dependency. So let's turn the page. Let's create a healthier money lifestyle and look at some do's and don'ts of tax refunds. So before you spend a dime of your tax return, take some time to think about what you really want. Is it a new car? Is it a vacation for the family? Is it just more money in the future to build upon? In order to do this, as I've mentioned a few times previously, it takes slowing down and incorporating some discipline. So let's get started. All right, so the first do that I have on the board here is have a plan. You have to at least have a plan when you getting a big amount of money like that. Most people, they just kind of operate on, okay, I got this sum of money. There's some things that I want out here, this and that. I see at the store. I want to do this. I want to do that. Before they can even plan or strategize, the money is almost gone. So what I would suggest is, at least before you spend a dime, list out some things, write out some ideas of what you want to do with your refund, whether it involves your kids, whether it involves your interests, or like paying off bills or getting ahead of bills, anything like that. So really sit down, take the time to have a plan before you spend anything. My next do is starting a building block. Yeah, what I mean by starting a building block is you can use this as a means to start saving, or even create that emergency fund that you may have heard other financial gurus talk about. Imagine so in a previous video I talked about how I laid out some ideas or some tips about saving. But imagine, you get this lump sum of money, and you really don't have anything that you want to do with it. How about just save it? How about you can start this month, start whenever you get that direct deposit, start from there. Like, imagine having to start your savings account with $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, and then just building upon there. So my rule of thumb, I like to say, save at least 70 to 80% of that tax refund, unless there's something dire that you really need to take care of. If you don't have anything that you really need to take care of at the present moment, go ahead and save that 70 to 80%. The other 20 to 30%, you can do something enjoyable with, do something fun with. But yeah, establish that percentage that works for you, save it, and then just start adding money to it. And that's a quick way to go ahead and build up your savings account. And then also, as I said, building block, you can continue to do this year after year after year, and it will grow your savings. Also wanted to mention previously with having a plan, it doesn't even matter if you wind up spending it all, to take care of a bill, or you wanted to pay off a big bill, or you wanted to get something new to replace something old. It doesn't matter if you wind up spending it all, as long as you have a plan. So my last do invest wisely. And this is not just limited to finding something in the stock market and investing in the biggest stock that you heard of, or a bond or a mutual fund, anything like that. This is more so you can invest in some of those things, but it's more so like investing in yourself. If there's like a class or you wanted to get back into school, or if there's some type of program, anything that you can invest into yourself, that you can start, that you've had your eyes on for maybe months, years, for a significant amount of time, you can use that money to do that, to invest in yourself and really see the fruits of that. Or if you wanted to choose, or I'm talking about kids again, if you wanted to invest in something with your about your kids, whether it's a college fund, school fund, any of their talents, any of their athletics, anything like that, this is a good starting point to really do that, just as long as you make that investment worthwhile. So now that I've covered the do's, let's go to the don'ts. And this is a big one here. This is what you and I. This is what we usually see from people. Just about every year. I don't want to make fun of that, but I just want to point that out, and let's see if we can change that pattern. First don't is, don't spend it all in a short time. So you get it in February. Some people may have gotten it a couple of days ago at the end of January. I know nowadays some of these tax companies are doing advances. You already got a percentage taken away from that. You didn't even get the full amount because you wanted to get it early. But you got it, and you're spending. By April or May, it may all be gone. Now, and you really didn't do anything worthwhile with it, because if you did, then you would still have some remaining throughout the year going into the next year of 2026. So please be aware of that. Don't spend it all in a short amount of time, spending this money on things that just isn't worthwhile, that doesn't last long, that doesn't have value. Like we tend to say, blowing money. Don't blow money too fast. Second thing, kind of relating to that, don't use it in desperation. Like I was saying before, some people may have gotten it earlier, maybe a couple of days ago, maybe last week or the week before, in desperation, like, okay, I need this money now. Maybe I've spent too much in Christmas and I need a little bit more of a cushion to fall back on. Maybe I need to cover some more bills, or cover some other obligations, things like that. But this can also pertain to other, not so good decision making, such as kind of just choosing any car off the lot, maybe off of a used car lot, then it turns out to be a bad car, or a lemon that won't last you throughout the year, or will only last you maybe a year or two, and then it creates that cycle. You're back to using that money again in another year to buy another vehicle, and it could be another lemon. So we want to be able to be watchful for that as well. Another thing I had listed, or I thought about, is like shoddy home repairs. Not getting something repaired in the right manner, not professionally, things like that, or it could get stolen. The money could get stolen. I've heard about plenty of things like that on the news. And then just other quick fixes, quick band-aid patch things that kind of shows that desperate money move that we just really want to avoid. Then the last don't that I have is really the opposite of this. Don't make bad investments. So it's really just about giving money to the wrong entities or the wrong companies, the wrong people who won't really treat that money in the right manner. Or if it's a bad investment move, but bad financial investment move that you decided to make kind of out of desperation, or just out of lack of knowledge, or the wrong knowledge. So we're really just seeking out the right knowledge to do what's right for your money, and really making it grow. One thing I like to say that we've all heard before: if it sounds too good to be true, it likely is. I've seen enough episodes of American Greed on CNBC to fully believe that really is true. So really watch out for making those bad investments, spending money desperately, or really spending money way too quickly. All right, so I would like to do an example of a building block, one of the do's that I have about your income tax refund. What I'm going to do in this example, I'm going to refer back to a budgeting or a balance example that I had in a previous video. This person was earning $1,800 every 2 weeks, or $3,600 a month. And on one of those examples, I had said that with the income that they had, they were able to save $400 a month. So that's going to be important for what I'm going to do next. Now, let's say income tax comes and they were blessed with with a grand total of $5,000. And let's say, I want to say 80%. I want to listen to P. Banks, the banker. I think he's giving good information. So 5,000 at 80%. Let's say they put 4,000 of this straight into a savings account. The rest of it, they can do something fun with. All right. But they're saving $400. They're already saving $400 per month. So if you multiply that by 12, you're getting $4,800 already. Look at this big jump. You almost have $9,000 saved for the year. So that's $8,800. Now, that was year one. If you kept at the same pace, in 3 years you can have as much as that. $26,400. That's enough to get a new car. That's enough to do a lot of things, and it's nice enough to let it sit in a savings account, whether it's a regular savings account at your local bank, or you could use a high yield savings account. I mentioned that earlier. That gives you more interest, which really could bring this up to about 27,000, maybe even closer to 29,000 with the interest that's building upon that. So really think about those things, and just the endless possibilities you can use from starting off with continuing to save. It don't even have to be as big as $400, but whatever you're able to save, and even using this as a building block and then just adding to it, it could add up to really a desired amount for you. Now, the purpose of this video today is really just to give some alternatives to receiving a large lump sum of money. And even these same methods could work when it's not tax refund time, whether it's like a settlement payout from an injury, game winnings, like a game show, anything like that, or even your own paycheck. We can end the cycle of impulsive spending around this wonderful time of year by mainly having a strategy with what to do with the money that we receive. So let's dive into the verse of the session here, which is Matthew 13:4-8, and also verse 12. And it reads, "A farmer went out to sow his seed. As he was scattering the seed, some fell along the path, and the birds came and ate it up. Some fell on rocky places where it did not have much soil. It sprang up quickly because the soil was shallow. But when the sun came up, the plants were scorched, and they withered because they had no roots. Other seed fell among thorns, which grew up and choked the plants. Still, other seed fell on good soil where it produced a crop, 100, 60, or 30 times of what was sown." And then verse 12 says, "Whoever has will be given more, and they will have an abundance. whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them. So what I'm reminded of when I'm reading this parable, which is, one of these many stories with morals that Jesus shared with his disciples and people during his time on earth, is just that level of carefulness that you have to have with something that's valuable to you. And it's really just highly important. So just like how the farmer had some seed on rocky ground, if your investment is unwise and your money goes to things that don't last, then it will not yield a harvest, and then there will be nothing to show for that decision you made. And also, smart money moves tend to be rewarded more often with either more money through the means of interest and savings, while not so smart money moves result in more problems like losses of money or loss of car usage due to it breaking down and just wasted time. They say the rich get richer and the poor don't get a thing. And I think that's really true. Unfortunately, yeah, it is true. But it's also on us to really decide that as well. The ones who are connected to the vine of God endures his continued riches and glory through his protection, through his favor, and his wisdom. And those who are not, they will kind of struggle a little more to get out of their situations. So let's apply this great parable from Jesus himself and change how we use our tax refunds. Now, I want to thank you all for taking the time to check out this week's session of Banks Wants You to Know, where financial discipline equals financial success. Please like, subscribe, follow, or share. If I've said something today that you'll consider useful in your financial journey, tune in next time to hear something I want you to know. Thank you, and class is dismissed.